Hey everybody, welcome to Patrick Murray Real Estate. I'm your host, Patrick Murray. And today we're going to talk about what's going on in the Calgary real estate market. Hey guys, we are firmly entrenched in the spring market right here in the city of Calgary, and there's lots of stuff happening. So we're going to get into that shortly. But before we do that, if this is your first time to this channel and you'd like to know everything there is about what it's like to buy and sell real estate in Calgary, maybe you want to understand the process better. Maybe you're a buyer or a seller and you want to understand where the market's going. Maybe you want to see a few home tours. Maybe you want to check out a few neighborhood tours. And guys, you're in the right spot. Just hit that subscribe button and click that bell so you get notified every single time I release a new video. Now, guys, I've lived in several major centers in my adult life, settling in Calgary way back in 2001, and I've been a realtor here since 2010. And all this means, well, I do have some specific knowledge about the city of Calgary and the surrounding bedroom communities. So if you are considering making a move or perhaps selling a home, please feel free to reach out to me, send me a text, email, or a phone call. I will absolutely get back to you. All right, guys, let's do this. Let's jump in and talk about what's happening in the Calgary spring market right now.
All right, everybody, let's jump in here and look at what's happening to the Calgary real estate market as of the end of May 2026. So, of course, we're into June right now, but June has not completed. So we don't have the latest month-end stats for June 2026, but we do for May. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to look at what happened in May, and that will give us a picture as to what's happened in the past few months, and then also what's going to be happening in the next little while. That should give us a bit of a picture. So first and foremost, I'm just going to make a quick adjustment here. All right, so we can see all these charts here. So first off, we're going to look at these dials. So we've got the detached, the semi-detached, the row, and the apartment sectors of the market. And if we look at this detached dial right here, we can see we're at 41%, which is right smack in the middle, pretty well, of a balanced market. Now, a balanced market in real estate is very healthy because it's not a buyer's market and it's not a seller's market, which means both parties are making prudent decisions without undue or unusual pressure. And so that's what I like about that. Now, these aren't average or median prices we're discussing because those can be skewed by data, especially if there's an unusual amount of higher end sales or lower price sales in a month that can skew the data. But what we're looking at is benchmark prices, which looks at each and every neighborhood in the city by product type and puts together the what the average home would be and what the price would be, and puts it together for the entire market. So this is a far more stable way about discussing prices and will give you a better idea. And of course, these numbers do fluctuate from community to community and so on and so forth. So before we jump in, let's talk about a little bit about the detached sector before we go down and look at all these dials. So there were 1,192 sales with 2,195 new listings, and the sales to new listing ratio is currently 54%. Now, while there's currently 2.5 months of supply on the market right now, so that means it would take us roughly 2.5 months to sell out of all the product we have right now. And again, that is firmly in balanced market territory. And the benchmark price right now is sitting at $747,800. Now, this is up 0.32% from last month, and year over year down 2.41% from May. But I can tell you that the last several months, this product type has been trending up throughout the city. So the detached sector of the market has actually been doing quite well. So they do remain the strongest segment in the Calgary market. While inventory is roughly 3% lower than last year, despite recent increases, conditions are generally balanced and supporting that price stability. Okay. So again, we talked about the benchmark price in January. It was 724,000. So again, like I said, it has been trending up, and here we are at 747,800 in May. And year to date, as I said, the sales are down. Year to date sales are down roughly 4%, but it is outperforming other property types in the market. And the demand right now remains strong at both ends of the market. There's homes under 600,000 seem to be doing really well. And then luxury homes over $1.5 million are moving quite well right now also. And the market conditions certainly do vary significantly by district. So the West Calgary remains a seller's market, and the Northeast sector of Calgary has shifted towards a buyer's market. In fact, the Northeast sector has experienced the largest price decline at roughly 7% year over year, while the West prices remain relatively unchanged. So, despite detached homes continue to be the most resilient segment of the Calgary market, and well-priced properties in desirable locations are still attracting strong buyer interest. So, again, we can see here these prices month over month up 0.32% for the benchmark price year over year, down 2.41. 2,916 actives right now with 1,192 sold, last month. And days on market, roughly 28 days on market on average. And now we'll look over at the semi-detached sector, and we can see we're sitting, well, at 37%. So pretty close to being in the middle of that balanced market territory. So if we pop down here, we can see there were 217 sales last month with 375 new listings. And the sales to new listings ratio is sitting at 58%. And with just under 3 months of supply, again, balanced market territory. And we can see this benchmark price of $691,100. So the semi-detached homes remain in relatively balanced condition. Inventory has improved modestly, but still remains manageable right now. And the prices continue to recover from earlier this year. So benchmark prices have increased from 667,000 in January, and now here we are at $691,100 in May. So prices are below last year's levels, just below 1%. You can see here 0.96% for May 2025. However, up month over month modestly by 0.13% from last month. Now, some districts are performing exceptionally well. The Northwest Calgary sector and the West sector of the city are both doing really well. And these districts have reported record high prices this year. So semi-detached homes continue to offer an attractive option for buyers looking for more space than a townhouse while remaining more affordable than a detached home. And again, you can see the actives versus the solds. And that's how we get this 37% listing absorption rate. The amount of actives by the amount of solds gives us that 37%. And average days on market sitting at 36 days on market on average. And now we'll move over to the row sector of the market. And we can see, well, we're sitting at 30% here, guys. So that is right on the cusp of a buyer's market and a balanced market. And again, it really depends what sector of the market you're looking at, what community, what area. So there were 350 sales in this sector of the market with 695 new listings coming on. So sales to new listings ratio is 50%. And that is slightly over 3 months of supply, which is pushing us more into that buyer's market. And the benchmark price sitting at this $422,300. Now, row homes are experiencing a more noticeable shift towards balanced conditions, which is good news. Sales are down 16% year to date, but the inventory continues to rise, giving buyers more choice. So despite softer conditions, prices have improved since January, and the benchmark prices remain 6% lower than last year. Okay. So, and we can see year to year, we're down 6.43% from May, month over month, down modestly 0.14% from last month. Now, the regional differences are significant. The Northeast and East sectors of the city have experienced declines exceeding 10%, while the West Calgary has been the most stable with only a 4% decline. And townhouse buyers now have a lot more selection and negotiating power than they've had in several years, but pricing remains relatively stable compared to pre-pandemic levels. And again, here we can see the amount of total actives by the amount of solds, giving us this 30% number here, and 38 days on market on average. Okay, so now we'll pop over and look at the apartment condominium sector. And this is something a little bit different. We can see as we've been going along, this dial's been getting lower and lower and lower. And here we are in the apartment condominium sector, sitting at 19% listing absorption rate. Again, that's 2,070 actives with just 403 or 19% of those listings selling, putting us in firmly in a buyer's market here. So overall, again, like I said, 403 sold homes. Contributing to this number, there were 961 new listings, adding to this 2,070. So that's part of that 2,070. So new listings, and the sales to new listing ratio is 42%. There's more than a 5-month supply of product here, and that's what's pushing this into buyer's market territory. And the benchmark price right now, as you can see, sitting at $300,400. Now, month over month, this is down 0.33% from April, so not horrible. But when you look at year over year, we are down 9.05% from May of last year. So apartment condominiums are currently the weakest segment in Calgary, as you've already guessed. Sales are down nearly 28% year to date, and inventory levels remain elevated as the demand has been slowing here. Now, there's a lot of competition here from new condominium projects, which are not included in any of the numbers you're seeing here. Builders are regulated very differently, so new homes are not included in resale products. So there's a lot of competition from those new projects, and purpose-built rental developments are also reducing demand for the resale units. Now, conditions have shifted firmly into the buyer's market territory, as discussed. And we've already looked at the benchmark prices. They are below January levels and 9% lower than May of 2025. And the largest price declines in this sector of the market are in the Northeast, the North, and the East sectors of the city. Northeast Calgary has been the most resilient with a decline of approximately 6%. Pardon me, Northwest Calgary has been the most resilient with a decline of 6%. So, I mean, down everywhere, but especially down in certain sectors. Now, condominium buyers currently have the greatest opportunity in today's market with increased selection, more negotiating leverage, and softening prices. So, good news if you're looking to buy and you want to stay for a while. And we can see here as we go down, 46 days on market on average. Now, overall, the bottom line here for buyers is more inventory means more choice and less competition. Again, the apartment condos offer the strongest buyer opportunities, while detached homes remain competitive, particularly in desirable areas and price ranges. Now, for sellers, pricing strategy is becoming increasingly important. Detached and semi-detached properties remain relatively well positioned, and the condominium and townhouse sectors of the market, while sellers need to be especially mindful of competing inventory and market expectations. And I can tell you, as someone who I've got listings in several different sectors of the market, and in the Northeast, we see some buyers coming in and really sending these lowball offers, and they can do that because there's lots of selection, and somebody might blink. But generally speaking, if they're listed with a professional realtor and done their research properly, the homes are likely properly priced where they're listed at or close to. So, but it is certainly taking a lot longer to sell. Calgary's market is no longer moving as one market. The detached homes remain relatively balanced and stable, while apartment condominiums have shifted into buyer's market. Understanding the differences between property types has never been more important when making real estate decisions.
As I said earlier, if you are considering making a move, maybe you're going to buy a home, maybe you're selling a home, please feel free to reach out to me. Send me a text, email, or a phone call. I will absolutely get back to you. I'm Patrick Murray with Patrick Murray Real Estate. Hey guys, I look forward to seeing you in the next one.